So, hello again and Merry Christmas. I hope you all are having a lovely day, a nice amount of time, hopefully warm and cozy. And that's kind of what this practice is about. We're going to work from a place of comfort to develop a little bit more openness in the body, opening the chest, and especially a focus on the heart today. We'll do that through a couple of exercises that loosen things up, work with your breath, and develop some warmth to, yeah, just enjoy and feel good. One thing that'll help is if you have a blanket. So if you can grab that, and what we're going to want to do is roll it as nice and tight as you can. So you want the blanket to be, or the towel, or whatever you have, you want it to be about the length of your back. It can be a little bit shorter or longer, that's fine too. Fold it in a way so that you can then roll it nice and tight. Try to get a little bit longer and a little bit smaller so that it's a really nice tight roll and not necessarily something so big that you feel like you're going to fall off of it when you roll it. So that'll do. That's about the biggest that works for me. And I'm going to place that the long way on your mat. Place that so that it's about one hand, maybe maximum two, away from your seat, away from your tailbone, so that you can come down onto your blanket. Oops, quick note there. So then help yourself down onto the blanket so that your head is supported and that the blanket runs right underneath your spine. So right down the middle line of your back. Go ahead and get adjusted as you need to, so that you feel supported here. You feel like with every exhale, you can let your whole body drop down towards the mat and into the support of your blanket roll. So what we're doing here with this firm, but also cushion support underneath the spine, putting a little bit of lift and pressure there to help open the front body, to open especially, of course, the heart and lung area, really all of the area and organs in the front side of the body. You want to make sure that this feels good also in your lower abdomen, in your hips, and your lower back. Do that by adjusting your feet as you need to. This could be feet on the floor, knees up. You could also rest your knees together. If everything feels good in the lower back, you might just want to extend your legs out one at a time. This will also help cultivate that sense of openness, being receptive to whatever you feel. Closing your eyes, if you like, will also help redirect your attention inward to this moment, to this breath. Let's breathe in fully and easily, and exhale with a sigh. One more time. Breathing in naturally, smoothly, always in through the nose whenever possible. And if it feels good, exhaling out the mouth with a sigh. That's another really nice way to let go of some of that tension, maybe some of that commotion or inner turmoil that might be rushing through you. And then as you settle down into the support of the floor and your prop, notice with every exhale, if there's any tension in your body that you can simply release and let drop down into the earth. Continue breathing naturally in through the nose. And with every exhale, give yourself permission to let go of whatever you don't need to be fully present. Right here, right now. Fully connected with and feeling yourself. So we'll do a brief scan of the body from the top of your head, moving your attention across the face, the eyes, the cheeks, around past your jaw and through your neck. Continue scanning down your neck and into the torso. Just noticing as you come across the different parts of your body. Again, if there's any physical tension that you can soften and release. Especially noticing if there's any hardness or any really strong feeling, strong sensation, big feeling. If you notice that, feel free to rest your attention there a little bit longer. And rather than trying to force something, or change something, simply notice. Notice a little bit more carefully, a little bit more compassionately, whatever it is. Notice it. And allow yourself to feel that way. And just see if with the next breath, anything changes. Continue moving your awareness. If you become distracted, that's all right. It happens. Every time your attention is taken away from here and now, and you notice that, you have an opportunity to practice returning your attention to this moment, and this body, and this breath. Just continuing as you were, until you get through the whole body, down into the legs, past your knees, and all the way through the feet and the tips of your toes. Once you've scanned over your whole body, bring your attention back to your breathing. Just begin to follow the natural rise and fall of your breath. And if you like, I invite you to try a breathing exercise that begins with visualization called Vyana Vayu. The Vayus are the different patterns of movement or circulation of life force in the body. And the Vyana Vayu is the one about expanse and contraction. So as you inhale, imagine that you are breathing from your heart and it expands out through all the parts of your body, into every cell, in every corner. And as you exhale, allow the energy of your breath, your awareness of any feeling and circulation to come back and collect in the center of your heart. Not any trick to it. It's really just about watching, perhaps visualizing the energy of your breath as a beautiful golden light that gets a little brighter, a little bigger with every inhale. And as you exhale, this light softens and condenses right back to the center of your heart. There's no need to make it happen. No bonus points for effort. So see if you can follow this expansiveness of every inhale and this collected softening of every exhale with a little bit less work. Become effortless in your breath. So we begin here from a place of open receptiveness and deep awareness. When you feel ready, we're going to start to connect some movement with the breathing. And on an inhale, you can go ahead and bring your arms overhead, keeping your shoulders heavy and relaxed towards the earth. And as you exhale, allow your arms to ride on the waves of your breath and release. So really connect inwards here, listening to your body and following your breath. And if you feel any difficulty in the shoulders, if the front side of the shoulders feels tight, you might want to bend your elbows a little bit, moving to a more cactus arm position. We really want the shoulders to relax and rest heavy into the back body here, maybe even already touching the floor, maybe not. And this movement is just that. It is the chance to move in perhaps a new way, at least for today, a way that is fully immersed in your awareness of the breath and how the breath informs your movement. And the movement will also inform the breath. And I notice a tendency in myself to rush through some of this. So as much as possible, allow yourself to take all the time you need to enjoy a full and easy breath. Do one more like that. And again, you have the option to always return to this Vyana Vayu breathing practice anytime you notice your awareness has gone somewhere else. Great. We're going to come off of the blanket roll. So do so mindfully. You might bend your knees for that and just roll to the side of it. Move the blanket out of your way for a moment. You may come back to that. And then come back down to your back on the floor. Again, with your legs positioned in any way that feels comfortable, especially in your back. You're going to grab your elbows in your hands and just notice which arm is in front, which one's leading. And let your head rest heavy on the floor. On an inhale, again, expanding from your heart, the arms like the wings of the breath. And as you exhale, we're going to let the elbows dip over to one side and inhale back up. And exhale, dipping over to the other side. And inhaling back to center. Now continue like this a few rounds in your rhythm. And feel free to let the head and the neck move if they feel moved through the arms. So you're not holding your body so tight or so hard. Definitely don't want to lock up your neck. And if the head and neck feel like they're pulled with the arms, then just let them gently be pulled in any direction. It's a great opportunity to notice with this very simple movement, very sliding and fluid movement, if there are any tough spots, maybe some clicking or cracking. This is often some of the connective tissue, the fascia that supports our muscles and our joints, really the whole body. And it takes some time for it to warm up and the fluids around it. So oftentimes that's associated with some quicker or even sharper twinges. I often feel some clacking and popping around my joints, and you might notice and feel that too. So we're going to come back to center and then just try the same thing in a different position. Perhaps you'll want to bring your arms over the belly and just try that sliding motion again in connection with your breathing at the height of your belly. Or you might want to bring it up to the height of your forehead. And notice what it's like as you slide over there. Might be very similar or quite different. And either way is good, especially when you take the time to notice that and notice how it feels. So what we're doing here is kind of being in a laboratory experience with the body. And really just taking your time, being loving, being careful, enjoying yourself. Great. We're going to do one last thing with the arms held here. You can keep your arms in the same position or let the other arm now be on top. We're just going to take some circles in both directions. I like to inhale as the arms come overhead, expanding the front body, and exhale, letting the elbows lead, closing around the other side of that circle. Notice if you have that tendency to rush your breathing. And invite yourself to take a little bit more time to take care of yourself. And pause after your next circle and then begin to rotate in the other direction. This side feels actually much smoother. It's much easier already, so that's nice. Okay, one more circle there, pausing. And then we're going to find our blanket again for one more shoulder stretch and opener. And for this one, you might want your blanket not so big. So if you've rolled it really tight, if it's still like that, instead let's go ahead and fold it into thirds, or fold it so that it is more or less flat and where you can fit it nicely behind your upper back. So we just want to put it right behind the shoulder blades. We're going to let the head again rest on the floor. So you want to notice where the back of your shoulder blades in the back, where they're at their lowest point, tip of the shoulder blade there, and make sure that that is supported by your blanket. And then the back of the head can come off the blanket onto the mat. You can keep your knees up, feet on the floor, or extend the legs out long, which I really like to do for this one, because we want to keep the lower body nice and heavy. This will help support this stretch and opening through the traction rather than having to use a lot of effort. So what we're gonna do is start by taking your right arm up and just lift it vertical, perpendicular to the floor, and let the shoulder be heavy here. So again, the shoulder resting in the support of your upper back. But go ahead and try to lengthen your arm as much as you can from that support as you inhale. And then on your exhale, we're going to bring that arm across your body, keeping your lower body still. So keep your legs and hips nice and heavy wherever they are. You're just going to try to reach that right arm towards your left fingertips. At the same time, the shoulder remains very stable, very rested in the back, but your arm, go ahead and give it a nice stretch. And stretch as much as you want here while keeping your lower body grounded, the shoulder relaxed, and of course your awareness with every breath. Just take one more. Inhale here. And then on an exhale, release. Resting your arms out like a big letter T. Just take a moment to notice how that feels. For me, I already noticed a very big difference on one side. The right side feels a lot more open. So let's see what the left is like. First, just lifting the arm, activating a bit. At the same time, we really want to relax that shoulder into the back. From there, on an inhale, lengthening the arm. And exhale, begin to roll and twist your upper body a little bit while keeping your lower body firm and resting where it is. It's okay if one side is very different. Perhaps you have a little bit more range for movement here. Or you might notice that mobility is somehow more restricted or just feels different. Again, we're not trying to force or push the body to do something it's not ready to do, especially in this place of supported self-care. We want to meet the body where it is and really neutrally, objectively understand where it is. And when you know your body a little bit better, even on the deepest, most subtle level, you are in a better place. You are more empowered to help yourself. One more exhale here, give it a nice reach and an inhale. And then exhale, coming back, perhaps with a sigh and softening back into neutral on the support of the blanket or the back of your shoulders. This is another nice way to gently open all across the entire breast, chest area. And for me, it really gives me a new perspective on the entire breathing room. Following your breath and returning with every exhale back to the heart. Okay, we're gonna bend the knees and we're done with our blanket for now, so you can move it off to the side and have it if you want it for later. And this time, bring your feet to the floor so you can barely touch the back of your feet, and then open your legs as wide as your mat, or even a little bit wider, and you can bring your arms resting on the ground, hands facing up so that those shoulders are a little bit more relaxed towards the floor. We're just going to do some waves action through the knees, kind of similar to what we were doing through the shoulders and the elbows. I'll be honest, this one is harder for me to slow down as slow as the breath, and if it's harder for you too, if you feel like you already want to move the legs a little bit more, that's okay. You can do it too. You can do it at whatever speed works for you. And then really give yourself that opportunity to slow down again, and for at least a wave or two. Let your knees be heavy on an exhale as they fall to one side. The hips, the pelvis still resting on the floor, and with your inhale, come back up. Finishing your inhale, expansive in your breath, and then as you exhale, let the knees again be nice and heavy, and take your time, keeping the lower back, the pelvis, resting towards the floor as the knees reach out. And we'll just do one more like that, really slowing down. Again, turning attention inward as you follow that opening and that contraction of every breath. Very nice. So we're going to come back to neutral here with the feet on the floor, and the feet fairly wide, a little bit wider than the hips, as wide as the mat. Now with both feet on the floor, inhale, lifting the knees energetically as you let the pelvis settle. And as you exhale, we're going to twist the knees over to the same side, just letting them fall. And you can gently look in the opposite direction. What we're going to do is stay in this opening here through the hips. And you have the option to add the leg. So if your knees are moving to the left, you'll take that left foot, which is the outer foot. You're going to take the outside of the left foot and rest it on the outside of the right knee, or right behind the knee on the upper leg. So what we're not doing here is forcing. You're not using the foot to push your knee down to the ground. Instead, we want a nice opening and a lengthening in this twist. So the action of my inner leg and the knee is to reach away from my forehead and in the direction of that far corner of my mat. For me, my right knee, I'm trying to lengthen it towards that bottom left corner of the mat, and the weight of that left leg resting on the outside of the upper leg is really here just a guidance, a little bit of resistance if you like, but it should be no pain and definitely no strain. That's really going to be counterproductive to this kind of work. Instead, bring your awareness into the tissues of that inner leg. For me, it's the right side as my knees are falling to the left. And I'm trying to lengthen, or at least observe the length of the tissues on the top side of the leg and as they connect to the hips, while maintaining that steady awareness of the breath. One more inhale here, and we'll release with an exhale. Both feet to the floor and knees back up. Pausing in between sides can be a really nice opportunity to notice and feel. Great. Second side, when you're ready, on an exhale, you let both knees fall over to the other side, my right side. So my inner leg is going to be the left knee, and I'm going to use that outside of my outer leg to rest it on the top side, or it's the outside of your inner leg. A little bit confusing here, so I also use right and left. When your knees move to the right side, that right foot hooks onto the left side of the left leg, just behind the knee. As much as possible, again, the pelvis remains resting on the ground. We get a nice opening through the front side of that more lifted leg, the inner leg. So I'm trying to reach again that left knee away from my left shoulder, down towards that opposite right corner of my mat. Again, I'm not pushing, not struggling here. But I do feel quite a length, quite an opening sensation through the hip, through the quad muscles. So as you breathe here, a few more breaths, See if you can notice also the tone of your posture. What is your inner voice telling yourself? And can you listen to whatever you're feeling with just a little bit more unconditional understanding and love for yourself, whatever you're feeling. Let's take one more breath here, breathing out from the center of your heart, and one more exhale, collecting your awareness back to the center of your heart as you release. Ooh, very nice. Okay, we're gonna just bend the knees and hug them into the body, rocking on the back a little bit. A nice amount of time here on the floor, so we're gonna get up onto all fours shortly and get moving a little bit more. Now you might just wanna roll over to your side, or you can rock up and down on the back. It's gonna be a nice massage for the back. Just be careful not to rock onto your neck. And if you come to a seated position, you can cross your legs and make your way to hands and knees. So from hands and knees, you want your shoulders right above the wrist. Spread your fingers, you have nice big hands, and your knees right underneath your hips, or under the hip-ish. We're gonna take some cat and cow, arching the back as you inhale, shoulders back, look up. And then as you exhale, rounding your back, tuck your belly in and up as you look down. And as you inhale, your sitting bones, your tailbone reaches back and up, looking up. And as you exhale, your chin drops to the chest as you look maybe at your belly button or just between the legs. And after you've gotten a sense for your positions, you're aware of your stability in that way, you can also close your eyes if that still feels stable. Sometimes closing the eyes and moving when we feel grounded, when we feel balanced, can be a helpful way of, again, focusing inward. It might help you be a little bit more open to noticing those more subtle aspects of yourself, especially how the circulation of your breathing is changed by this movement. And also the movement will change and affect the circulation of your life force. One more exhale, and at the end of your exhale, come to a neutral spine. So there's a nice length through the whole back, and also some gentle, natural curves right behind your neck, back of the neck, and at the bottom of your lower back. So I'm going to take a nice twist here from hands and knees, a modified child's pose twist. We'll start with the right arm, lifting it up. And then on an exhale, we're going to let the back of the hand come down to the floor and possibly the shoulder all the way down to the floor, or use your left hand for support if you already feel a lot of sensation in your twist. Now your hips have a tendency to slide to the left when we're twisting to the left. So we're going to try to bring them a little bit more parallel back over your knees. Energetically, just notice them, engage. And you could stay here in this twist for the next few breaths. Or if you're looking for something deeper, you could start to walk that left foot out to the left. So kind of making a tent action with that left leg. See if you can get the outside, the little toe side of your left foot also resting on the ground. And then if you do that, you're going to want to use the right foot and turn it so it's facing the left foot. Use that right foot as a little bit of a kickstand action here. Trying to support the hips and the lower body so we can, again, notice the length and the curves of the whole body, the spine. And then just settle in for another 2 breaths. Very good. Now, whatever you've gotten yourself into, retrace your steps, unwinding that supporting leg, bringing the extended one back underneath your hips, and using your supporting arm to lift up, open up, and then back to hands and knees. Again, a moment to just pause and feel. When you're ready, we'll lift that left arm up, reach up, maybe look up, and then exhale the back of the hand to the floor first as you slide the left hand over to the right, bringing the outside of the left shoulder down to the floor, and your hips will have a tendency to swing to the right. So just notice that, and if you can, bring them a little bit back more to center. Option to stretch out that right leg, the outside leg, kind of creating a long line. I'm trying to keep my hips nice and stable, feeling their relation to each other. And the option to just turn on the bottom knee so that that left foot is now reaching out to the right, or pointing out to the right. The outside of the right foot resting towards the floor. And that might give you a little bit better position to deepen your twist. Not really trying harder here, but noticing a little more if there's some room for extension. And an opportunity to soften. Really just surrender to whatever you're feeling. We'll take one more breath here. And then coming back out, the same way you got in, mindfully, and with connection to yourself. Lovely. So you might feel like it's already time to get moving some more, and you might want some cat and cow again. You might be ready for downward facing dog. If so, again, make sure your fingers are spread big and keep your knees gentle, an easy bend in the knees. And then we'll activate the legs a little bit by reaching the back, so the bottom and the back, the heel of the foot away from you, back and down. But don't overextend the knees here. We're not too worried about the legs for today's practice. Really want to get that feeling of length in your back, a nice stretch, above all, feeling good. And if you wanted to move some more, feel free to join me in a gentle flow, or just stay right here and see if you can settle in, coming forward to the top of the push-up, and then perhaps lowering the knees as you exhale, lowering the whole body down. Inhaling a gentle cobra pose, leading with your heart. Exhale, chin to the chest, and back to downward facing dog. Nice. Just take 2 more smooth, unrushed breaths here. See if you can bring that same awareness, that same calm, constant awareness to every breath. Then on your next exhale, as slow as you can, bending your knees and lowering them all the way down to the floor. Make sure your knees are open a little bit wider, as wide as your hips or as wide as your mat. You can bring your big toes to touch. And then bring your seat back to the back of your feet. If you don't easily reach the back of your feet, you can put that blanket between your heels and your seat. You want to have a little bit of connection again between the sitting bones and the heels. With your arms outstretched, lengthen the whole back, And then lower your upper body down to the floor, resting on the support of your backs of your legs, forehead, resting on the floor or the chin. And your arms can stay extended here a little bit more active and lengthening through the arms. Just make sure the shoulders feel good. Or you could bring the arms by your side. Child's pose. One of the most restorative, loving poses that I also love. Especially when I've had a long day, or if I've had a day full of a lot of difficult decisions, those things that they require careful attention and some willpower at times. This is a great way to recharge some of that. Okay, I'm going to come back down onto the mat. Inhale and roll your body up. You can use your fingers for that. We're going to come back down onto our back for just a couple more poses. One of my favorites here, the puppeteer's pose. So, for this one, you're going to want to spread the body out like a starfish. Make sure you have plenty of room. I'm going to start with the right leg. So with this, with your arms spread out like a T, your legs are wider than your mat. Let the feet fall open. The legs nice and heavy. The back of the head resting on the mat. Take a breath. So on your inhale, we're going to lift the right foot, maybe just 2 centimeters, maybe 3 or 4 maximum, and bend the knee as you bring the knee in the direction of the right shoulder. As you exhale, you're going to cross the leg over the body to the opposite side and pedal the foot. So you want to actively push through the bottom of that foot as you circle the leg back around and let it drop. Inhale, left side, lifting just a little bit. Shouldn't be difficult, but we're bending through the knee and pulling that leg in on the inhale. As you exhale, cross the leg over you. Oops, a little bit more room. Keeping that grounded leg nice and steady. Swing it around and let it rest down. Back to the first side. Inhale, lift and bend as you pull it up. And then exhale, extend, really pushing through the bottom of the foot. Sometimes I like to move through the ankle like I was pedaling on a bike or a paddle boat. And then let it rest. Nice and heavy. When you're ready, inhale, lifting, bending, reaching up through the knee. So the knee is really initiating this action. And then reaching out through the bottom of the foot. Let the bottom of the foot and the heel lead the way. And release. I'm just going to do 2 more in your rhythm. Really notice my hip flexors in this one. Whatever you notice, whatever you're feeling, you just give yourself that time and meet yourself there with an ever increasing sense of compassion, just widening this circle of compassion. If you can extend it a little bit more with every inhale. And as you exhale, allow pure, unending compassion to return back to the center of your heart. Pausing for a moment here in your starfish position. Just taking another moment to notice and feel. Lovely. Okay. When you're ready, we are going to settle in deeper to a final resting pose. And that's what I mean. You really want to find this resting pose that works for you, where you will feel no need to fidget or move. So you might have a very different pose than mine, and that's okay. For example, if you've got that blanket or a bigger cushion, a pillow, you could put it underneath the back of your knees. This will support the legs, help you soften through your hips, and it's always nice for the lower back when we bend the knees. This helps release tension in that area so that your lower back, in fact, the whole back, can rest nice and long, resting down into the ground. Or you might want to rest your feet on the floor. If you do this and bring your feet out wider, you can let your knees rest together, resting on each other. That can also be a really nice feeling, especially if you've had any difficulty, any discomfort through the groins, through the inner lines of the leg. Or you could also rest on your side or in any comfortable position where you can just let go. If you're resting in classic Shavasana, you can bring your arms out by your side. Use your arms to help support your position as you need. With the arms by your side and the hands facing up, your shoulders will relax a little heavier into the floor. If you're wearing glasses, taking off your glasses and closing your eyes can help you soften all of the muscles in your face. If you need warmth, putting on an extra layer or your socks can help you find that final resting position where you can be comfortable, where you can turn inwards, letting go again of the world of outside distractions and resting your full attention in this moment, in this breath. You're still practicing the Vyana Vayu breathing exercise. You take 3 last expansive inhales, breathing out from the center of your heart, and exhaling, letting that light and awareness shine and radiate back to the center of you. You can release that practice as you make any final adjustments if you need to. Just return to your natural breathing and take a moment to notice your whole body resting on the floor. Every exhalation, letting go of all physical tension everywhere. Every inhalation, noticing the length, the weight of the body. With every exhalation, allowing the whole body to rest a little heavier. As you inhale, you might notice those contact points where your body meets the floor. As you exhale, allow your whole body to soften into that support a little more. For the next few moments, allow your full attention, the full effect of your concentration, to simply rest in the rise and fall of your beautiful breath. And slowly and gently bring your attention back to here and now. Slowly start to deepen your breathing as you're ready. Notice how with this fuller breath and the greater movement that comes with it, notice how your body begins to enlighten and enliven. And when the body feels light enough, begin to move and wake up your physical body again in any way that feels sweet, and just feels nice. Starting small and easy, letting small movements just spontaneously get bigger as you're ready. If you like, reaching your arms overhead, resting the weight of the shoulders still on the floor as you stretch your whole body, nice and long. And exhale at the side, returning your arms by your side. Might feel nice to roll your head from side to side. Letting the back of the head still rest on the floor. And it can be really nice to give your body another hug again. A big thank you to yourself. As you're ready, roll over to your right side. Just pause for a moment in the fetus position, using your arm for support of the head and the neck. And as you're ready, you can use both arms, both hands to help yourself up. One more time into an easy, comfortable seat. Sit in a way where you can sit up tall with your spine, where you feel good through the hips and the legs. The offering here today is to take Vajra Pradama Mudra. This is where you interlace your fingers with the thumbs free to point up, and the hands, the palms of the hands resting above your heart, the thumbs pointing up in the direction of your collarbones. Again, we'll lift the heart here in the mudra of trust, Vajra Pradama. Nice reminder to listen to the heart, to trust in the basic goodness, the graciousness of all beings. Finishing in Anjali Mudra, the mudra of offering, the hands together in front of your heart. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your practice. May it bring happiness, peace, and joy to you and all those around you. Namaste.